Hey, we are Polaroid.
And in this video, we will show you how we perform live. So all our gear, our Ableton session.
Let's go. So everything comes together in Ableton. It's like the heart of our live set. And let's dive into it. Okay, first you can see here's some audio channels. We have them separated. So we have a stem mix here. It's always a kick channel. It's a drum channel or two drum channels, the bass, lead, moog, or other lead sounds that we want to play individually, or the rest channel, and sometimes a add channel, I would say. The add is always like a little vocal chop or something else in this direction. The rest channel is just for atmospheres and field recordings and maybe some pads that are in the background. This is it. And Klavier, of course, Klavier, German. It's piano in English. And here are mostly backup tracks because Jonas is playing live, or it's like a backup track that is playing at low volume that is mixed together with Jonas playing live. So next we have MIDI channels, 3 of them. It's the Moog channel. Of course, it was a Moog. Now it's the monologue because we changed it because the Moog was too heavy to carry it to our live gigs all the time. So we switched. Then we have the Nordtrack, the beloved Nordtrack. It's more than 30 years old, I think. And we have a piano MIDI track. So Jonas can play the piano. And there is a VST triggered, so we can play live. Then we have a drum track or channel. There's just the audio coming from our drum track. We have a sampler channel that is not used at the moment. Sometimes we play with an extra iPad where we do stuff, so not at the moment, but maybe 2 years ago. And a microphone channel. This is just for concerts, for example, where we if we want to talk to the audience, we just use it. And then we have 2 channels that are always running. It's rim and ride channels, so we can always add these kind of sounds to our live set. So let me show. So here you can hear what it sounds like. And at least we have our tempo channel. There's just a Max for Live device and it's changing our tempo automatically. So if we have a transition and we have 2 songs and we have a tempo change, we can easily set it up here. And if we trigger the scene, it will automatically change the tempo and we can concentrate on playing live. So now you have seen our channels, and if we look horizontal, you can see all our tracks, you can see our whole live set, how we play. And the first thing you will see that we have often an intro, we have a start, we have a drop, we have an outro. So we have different scenes for every song. Usually it's like we have an intro loop, and then we are going into the next step, like a introduction of the track and then into the main part. And after this, we are ending in our outro loop. And you can see there's the play button lighting up because we have follow actions. So every time we play the main part and we want to go into the outro loop because we are always improvising and playing some stuff at the end and at the beginning of songs. So there we're going into a loop that we can do like the transition. To show you like the end, this is the end of the track. And now we are looping and we can start to introduce a new song, for example.
So in the following transition, we end with the track Firoje and start with our track A Thread. And this is what I use. I mostly play on the Korg monologue. And the thing between the both songs is that they're in the same key. I will play the same melody from the first song, still in the intro of the second song. We'll play it here. And with the iPad, I control the effect pedal. So I will build up the atmosphere from the melody with the effect pedal to make a smooth transition. The effect pedal is the Strymon timeline. And it's a great delay pedal. I really love working with the ice preset. And it makes a great atmosphere. On the iPad, I use the Touchable plugin. And so I can control the scent effects here. Mirrors the Ableton setup you just saw on the MacBook. So I can show you how it sounds like. Another type, the tape delay. So this is the Strymon. And also you just saw I'm playing the Lumi keyboards from Woli. And they're just perfect for traveling. And also, they have cool light effects on stage. This is also a good point. And the good thing is you can divide them and they're still working. And now let's play the transition.
As you can see, I'm not touching the mousepad, the trackpad of my MacBook. It's just the screen I'm looking at because I'm controlling everything with my controllers and my stuff placed here. So at first, the Akai APC Mini, it's like just the perfect tool to trigger all scenes and to make volume changes on different channels. And I would say it's like the heart of all the controllers. It's controlling like everything in Ableton. And of course, I can launch a scene, for example, intro scene here. I can put the volume down here. And of course, I can launch the next scene and go through it. So as you can see, here's our beloved Nordrack 2. It's a polyphonic synthesizer and I have no keyboard for it. So every time it's triggered by MIDI. And here, for example, we have a starting loop. So as you can see, it has a crazy used look. That's because we play it all the time and you can see like the cutoff is played a lot, the decay, the envelopes and the LFO. For us, the Nordrack is a perfect synthesizer, like to modulate tracks, to do some cutoff stuff. And we just like it so much, so we use it all the time. And maybe the star of our live set, it's our custom built MIDI controller. I'm doing a lot with it. So it's like an Ableton controller where I can, doing effects on the drums. I can like put an auto filter on the kick. I can introduce some loops and I can trigger a delay, which is going crazy. So let me demonstrate it. So if we have like a head loop here, I can easily put it, you can see it, on the different sense of our drums. If I put it up, it would play the drums 1 that are not playing at the moment. And if I'm putting it down, it's triggering a delay. You can hear it. And I can control the delay that is sitting here with these 2 faders. So here I can easily setting the feedback. So if I'm playing it and now turning the send volume up, it's evolving, and the feedback is really long, but I can also put it really short and then it will like be gone after a few seconds, I would say. Also, we have 2 faders here that are for the volume of 2 loops that I can play and mix to every scene. As you can see, it's a ride. It's not playing at the moment. So we have a ride here, and we also have like a drum that I can like setting the envelope and other stuff here. And maybe one cool section, the arcade buttons here. If the kick is playing, I can easily like here. I can use a low cut to get rid of the bass, and if I want to, I can just put it into it again. You can see a lot of knobs here, and I think this kind of gear has like endless possibilities, and we nearly made maybe like 10 or 15 happen here. So this is changing with every live set, and with every new track we add to our live set, this controller is used differently, I would say. We highly recommend to build your own MIDI controller and playing your live set with it. And then last but not least, we have here the Nordrum 3P. It's, I would say, a drum synthesizer. So we are not triggering MIDI notes. So it's audio. It's like playing drums on top, for example, but it's also an effect, I would say, because I can play long white noise, washing sounds, or I can, like doing some build-ups with it. So it's like a tool that we're using like easily to make drums, but also to doing some effect stuff, I would say. So if you want to see how we bounce our stems and how we set up our MIDI setup, our channel setup, everything in Ableton, how we set our gear and how we interact on stage, just go into the description and click the link, and you can go to the masterclass and have all the information.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching. We hope you learned a lot today, and see you on stage.
See you on stage.